All right, guys. I don't know if you guys heard of the story of the mom that slept with the hockey team, but I found a narrator for the story, so let's watch this video.
Hey, yo, Chris Hansen. So I don't know if y'all heard, but there's this growing trend that I'm starting to see because I've reported on probably like 6 of these before in the past, probably like 4 months of white women, um, basically raping and essaying little boys. Now, it's mostly been teachers, but this is another story because there was another chick that had a firefighter husband that did the same thing. Now we have another woman who is a 30-year-old woman from Minnesota who was on vacation with her family and children in Colorado when she met two 15-year-old boys in a hot tub. She then started like confiding in them in the hot tub, and then they left. She got their numbers, and she was telling them she had just gotten into a fight with her husband. She was having marital problems. She texted and Snapchatted the boys while they was in their room. They were a hockey team. She texted them and said, "Hey, I just got into a fight with my husband. Can I come down to y'all room?" She basically then went downstairs and got a train ran on her by 15-year-olds while a third 15-year-old boy sat there and watched. Oh, no, it didn't stop there. So when she went home and everyone went home, she was Snapchatting and texting the boys still after that. Two of the boys after that. But the boys said that she kept telling them they did need protection. She also told them that she was being weird and stuff to the point where after the fact they just told her to leave because she was being they said she was pressuring them to do more obscene things. So either
But that's what I'm talking about. So all dads think this is cool, like, oh yeah, my son's sleeping with an older woman. Oh, and you can get locked up for that. But now it's like she's having your son do all kinds of freaky shit that you might not approve with. She might be having him, like, let's just say you don't believe in, eating the groceries or whatever you want to call it. Look it up if you don't know what it means. And then you found out that she had your son doing it, and you're like, I've never done that. I don't believe in it. That's what this is where it gets tricky. So you guys are all, pumping your fists like, yeah, my son is such a player. He's sleeping with an older woman, and then, shit like this. She's like, hey, you don't have to use protection. Like, yeah, you do. But he's 15. He doesn't know that, right? Or he should know better because 15 is old enough. But, what if it's a super attractive, female? He's going to be like, because a lot of grown men, if a really attractive woman says don't use protection, they're not going to use protection. So now you're talking about a 15-year-old boy? This is crazy.
So either this lady is a nutcase, or she was just, I don't know. But it's just weird how they always, word these cases with these women, especially women, because they said she's accused of. No, they proved that she did. And then they also never call it assault or rape. They kind of just be like, oh, well, she just committed sexual acts. Like, no, she essayed them little boys, took advantage of them. And of course, as always, these no coochie getting sexually deprived men get in the comments and they're like, oh man, where were these women when I was 15? Oh man, I wish it would be. Y'all are pathetic.
I'm not gonna lie, men, fathers, we do need to stop this, because I think we hear these stories and we go back to our high school days. When I was in high school, there was at least 2 teachers that didn't look like, I don't even know what to describe them. You guys know what the teachers usually look like back in the day. They usually, either they look really masculine or they were really old, but there was always like maybe 1 or 2 teachers that looked like they were 25 years old and were hot, usually married. And every young dude was like, man, if I could hook up with her, I would do it. But then you have to realize, especially if you're a parent, you gotta grow up at some point. If you're like in your 20s, I can understand it. If you're like, man, I would have loved to sleep with my teacher. But if you're a parent, like a father, you definitely should be looking at this and saying, oh no, this is not good. Because you're old enough to understand like how this could change your life at 15. Like back at 15, I didn't know. But if you think about it now, if that was their first time, now they're like, oh, you know, I think I like older women. You don't know if like this is going to become a thing now. So now you're going to be, eventually you're going to be legal at 18, but you're always going to be chasing cougars. Like, you never know. Like if this doesn't happen, they might look at cougars differently. They might get turned off from sex. They're not going to become gay, but they probably just going to be looking at sex differently. But I think a lot of us think that when we see these stories, we're like, man, if this happened to me, man, I would have handled it different. I wouldn't have snitched. I would have just kept it to myself. And I think some men do keep it to themselves, because I had friends in high school who were like my big brothers. I was 15, they were 17, and they're like, yeah, you know, I'm sleeping with an older woman. You know, this woman tried to run me over with her car because, well, you know, my friend was a player. So basically, he's dating this older woman, and she got upset with him and she tried to run him over. But he was the type of dude that he had a whole bunch of girls in high school and outside of high school. So, you know, women tend to get crazy when they find out you're dealing with other women. Mind you, he was 17 and he's dealing with a grown ass woman. So this is not new, but I don't know, fathers, we need to look at it differently. I know moms are like ill, because dads are like ill if, you know, a dude is dealing with a high school chick and he's a teacher. You know, I have a daughter, so for me, definitely would hate it for, you know, any teacher to mess with any young girl, because I have a daughter. So gotta feel the same way about our sons.
Y'all are pathetic. At the end of the day, she was taking advantage of these dudes, these little boys, to the point where she made them feel weirded out. And that's the point. Y'all think at y'all big grown ages that it does not impact young boys the same way it impacts young girls when they are taken advantage of at these young ages by adults. This isn't some booty tape video. This isn't some fantasy. This is real life, and it impacts people. I'm sorry. Stop letting corn destroy y'all brains. Like, grow up. Ugh. Predators come in all shapes, races, and colors. Genders too. It ain't just men. And there's a lot of women flying under the radar because of y'all horny ass men and the fact that y'all don't think women can become predators. Just saying. Because she could have easily found 2 grown men to do this very same thing to her and would have been fine. But she chose 2 little boys. It's a predator, bruh. Hey, yo, Chris Hansen. So I don't know if y'all heard, but
Yeah, so that's the situation with a lot of these freaky women nowadays. Y'all are not sleeping with other men, because we know women cheat, they just don't get caught. Now y'all are cheating with little boys, but nobody's highlighting it because it's women. It's really hard to critique women in a negative way for negative things, because if a man does this, then it's blown up. It's on every social media outlet. But when women do this, it kind of gets swept underneath the rug. I don't really see this on too many social media outlets, because it's starting to become a new norm now, where, you know, a lot of female teachers are getting caught with you know, teenage boys, or, you know, some woman. There was like another story that blew up from some like popular teacher. She was sleeping with a little boy, and I don't really hear much about it anymore. It blew up for like a day, and then that was it. Like nobody's really talking about it. But it seems like this is going to start to become more common now, because we're hyper focused on preventing men from doing that, which is the right thing to do. We should 100% have our guards up when it comes to men and little girls, but we also need to pay attention to women and little boys, because they're going under the radar. We're not protecting our sons. We're only protecting our daughters. And for me, as a dad that has a daughter, I'm okay with that. But for my friends who have sons, I don't want them to get taken advantage of. I think we're like I said, we only focus on men. So, you know, whether it's men around kids in general, but we don't focus on women because we expect better from them. However, because we expect better from them, they're taking advantage of that. And now they're sleeping with young boys. And we think it's okay because, again, like the dude in the video said, is like, porn has definitely had us think that, oh, okay, this is okay. Or even movies. Oh, you know, little boys always have crushes on teachers. But they're not supposed to actually, you know, do anything with that crush. It was just, you have a crush and she knows you like her and then she thinks it's cute, but that's it. But now it's like, oh, you like me? I'm gonna sleep with you, which is crazy. I'm not hating. This is a protecting thing. I'm not hating. Again, if you have a son, he's 15, he sleeps with an old lady, and she gives him AIDS, or not AIDS, but HIV, are you gonna be like, oh, you know, are you still gonna be happy about it?